All praises to Yahawah, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is just going to be a quick video, man, going into how Israelites have got way more skills than just being grimy street gremlins, man. Right? Israelites have got way more potential and way more ability than just being grimy street gremlins. But ultimately, if you achieve your or try too much to achieve your potential on this side, you'll end up losing, man. And one of the things that made me start doing this lesson was that I saw like a talent that somebody had that most people wouldn't expect them to have, that particular skill in what they're doing, man. But ultimately, though, even though this person has that talent, if and they're able to get some success in this world, right? This isn't the world that you want success from. All right, you don't want to try and get too much in this world, because ultimately then it can end up with you loving the world, man. But I'm going to read this scripture here. This is Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 21. For thus saith the Lord Yahawah, how much more when I send my four sword judgments upon Jerusalem, the sword and the famine, and the noisome beast and the pestilence, to cut off from it man and beast. Yet behold, therein shall be left a remnant that shall be brought forth, both sons and daughters. Behold, they shall come forth unto you, and ye shall see their way and their doings, and ye shall be comforted concerning the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem, even concerning all that I have brought upon it. Right? So after Yahawah has purged out the wicked from among the Israelites, man, the potential that we're going to have afterwards is going to be unlimited, which we already have unlimited potential anyway, but it's going to be unhindered, right? So the most skilled poets in this society with words, they're going to be expert in the kingdom. They're going to be unhindered. The most skilled musicians that we have among our people, they're going to be unhindered. They're going to be able to make music that puts a righteous vibration on people, rather than how this society works, where they make music that puts a wicked vibration on people, man. The people that are expert in science or expert in engineering, right? Or experts or knowledgeable in things to do with health, cooks, chefs, right? Artists, all the different things that people that might be into, want to be into making wine, right? There's going to be unhindered potential for the Israelites, man, where there's no longer going to be nobody that's going to be able to step in and stop us from doing anything, because all the wickedness that we have within us is going to be purged out, man. All those things that when we think about, man, I hope how am I going to really get salvation? Like, I hope Yahweh is going to have mercy on this part of me, man, right? And all them things that people think of when they think about that, whatever that thing is for them, where they're hoping that they're going to have mercy, man, because they need it. Once Yahweh has shown who he's going to have mercy on, the Israelites that are going to be made from that mercy, the Israelites that are going to be formed from that mercy, are going to be the most beautiful thing that the world's ever seen, man. Beginning with Yahweh Shai, right? Who's already fulfilled the role that he's supposed to fulfill, right? Verse 23, and they shall comfort you when you see their ways and their doings, and ye shall know that I have not done without cause all that I have done in it, saith Yahweh, saith the Lord Yahweh, right? Because there's people in this world that they might have a particular skill, right? And they might have had the skill when they were younger, and then they just left that skill and didn't really do nothing with it. And then they might go through a time period of where they build up their wealth in this world, and then later on in their older years, they can now go back to what their former hobby was and be able to turn that into a thing that they enjoy doing in this world and turn it into money, right? But what's going to happen with the Israelites that are calling upon the name of Yahawah Ba'asham Yahweh Shai is that their belief in Yahweh is going to cause for them to receive the greatest I told you so of all time, man. But those people that was trusting in this world and that might have had beliefs in this world and things that they did in this world, ultimately it's gonna come to nothing, man. Even though what they did, like, it was actually a decent skill that they might have had, right? And they put in a lot of effort into it, right? But their role on earth was to have skill in that and not skill in the Lord. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life. So everything that is of any worth considered in this world is going to be something of the lust of your flesh, the lust of your eyes, or the pride of life, man. So any skill that you have, right, according to you go back to Jeremiah 9 and 23, it's going to be you glowing in your might, glowing in your wisdom, or glowing in your riches, or if you've been so blessed, glowing in all three. And then your blessing ends up becoming a curse unto you because you've got too much in this world, so you don't want to find or want to think about another world outside of this. Verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Yahawah abideth forever, because Yahawah's name has been going through this earth for all generations, man. Right? There's always been people that are trying to question the Bible. There's always been people that are trying to question and go against Yahawah, man, and they've never been able to do anything against him. He's been in control of every single kingdom and every single society that's ever existed on this earth. He's been playing a role in every single kingdom that's ever existed, and he's guiding the world in order to see the final kingdom, man, which is the kingdom of the Israelites, with YAHAWAH being the head of that kingdom. Daniel chapter 2 and verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Right? Because there's a lot of people in this world, man. There's a lot of people in this world that they're quite impressive, right? By these worldly standards, right? They're quite impressive, man. They might be very impressive in terms of these worldly standards. You've got these people that they got a whole bunch of charisma, right? They might be skilled in combat. They might have riches, right? They might have some kind of earthly wisdom where they know things and they can maneuver through this world, and it's quite impressive to see, right? But then you start asking them about spiritual things and you realize that they don't have that portion. They don't have the belief in that, and they think that that kind of stuff is foolishness. Jeremiah 9 and 23, for thus saith Yahawah of hosts, thus saith Yahawah, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am Yahawah, exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth, for in these things I delight, saith Yahawah. So Yahawah, the people that Yahawah is going to actually have mercy on, man, are the people that this world looks at like pieces of garbage, man. Right? They're not going to be people that are considered relatively charming. They're not going to be people that are considered relatively tall or relatively successful in this world, right? Not going to be people that are considered as particularly smart. When people look at them on a first glance and a first impression, it's not going to be, wow, aren't these some outstanding individuals? It's going to be, get out of my sight. I don't even want to see this kind of person. You look they're going to be grossed out by you. They're going to laugh at you, right? They're going to catch you looking crazy on a thumbnail, screenshot it and laugh, right? They're going to think that you're a loser. They're going to try and find out anything that about your personal life that they can and laugh about it. They're going to find out, oh, he only makes this amount an hour, and they're going to laugh about that. They might find out that your job is not relatively impressive, right? And they'll be like, well, why do I need to listen to you on anything? Then what can you tell me when I make more than you a year, right? They're going to find something about your life that they don't find acceptable for why they should believe anything that you say. That's the kind of people that Yahawah is going to have mercy on, man. The people that are considered as low in this world, man. Romans chapter 8 and verse 33, who shall lay anything to the charge of Yahawah's elect? It is Yahawah that justifieth. So all of these things that these people might be able to find and say that we've did in this world anyway, right? To try and expose us with or say anything about us and destroy our character, right? Well, if we're of the elect, none of that stuff that you people are going to be able to say against us is going to matter. even though you might have did some of the same, even though these scoffers might have did some of the same things. We're going to receive mercy if we're of the elect and they're not, even though they're also an Israelite and have did exactly the same things as what we did. But the difference is going to be that they didn't believe in YAHAWAH. So therefore, they're going to have to deal with their own sins by themselves. But with our sins that we've committed are going to be covered by YAHAWAH, man. And that's why being a vessel of mercy to the highest degree, which is being of the elect to the nation of Israel, is like a thing that you can't, like, it's not a thing that nobody earned, man, right? And that's what makes this thing even more beautiful, man. That's what really makes you understand John 3:16 even more, that nobody that's getting salvation earned it. Nobody. One Israelite that's receiving salvation is no better than a 2/3 Israelite that's not receiving salvation. They're literally not better than them. They haven't did nothing better than them of their own self, right? It's just ultimately because Yahweh chose it to be that. It's not because they went out and did certain things and was just so much more, had so much more zeal. It wasn't of nothing that they can find tangible about what they did in their own self, of their own will. It was of the will of Yahweh. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Yahweh, not of works, lest anyone should boast. So if it was of what a man did of himself, right, well then he could boast in that. He could say, see, all these other people, they didn't have the zeal like I got to keep all these laws. So that's why I got saved and beamed up rather than this person. See, this person, he committed too much adultery. So that's why he didn't make it. And I did, because I've never did that ever in my life, right? Oh, these people was eating so much pork, but I never touched nothing from no dirty pork from when I was born. I was circumcised on the 8th day, a Hebrew of Hebrews, a Pharisee in the knowledge of the laws, right? You could say all of that, then you could boast in that if it was of yourself. But it's not of anyone's own skill, man. Verse 9 again, not of works, lest any man should boast. Yahweh doesn't want no Israelite to be able to boast or try and flex when they are up in them chariots, man. They want them Israelites to be like, man, how? How? Why me? I thought I was a gunner there. They want him to, he wants the Israelites to be crying with mercy, being thankful of mercy when they get on them chariots. They don't want them to be like, I knew it, I told you. I knew I was one of them. He doesn't want nobody to be proud like that and saying, I knew it, man. I told, like when Ali whooped George Floorman, talking about, I told you. He doesn't want no Israelite to be like, man, I told you that I was of the elect. I knew it. He doesn't want nobody to be there like that, man. Every Israelite that's going to get beamed up in them chariots is going to be, there's going to be some point in time where there's like, man, I hope that I'm going to get saved out of this scenario. Verse 10. For we are his workmanship. Who's the workmanship? Everyone that's going to receive that grace, man. For we are his workmanship, created in a Mashiach, YAHAWAH, unto good works, which Yahweh have before ordained that we should walk in them. So because Yahweh already said all the people that are of the elect are going to walk in this way, it's not of themselves, because they couldn't not walk in the way if they wanted to. They literally couldn't not walk in the way. And anything that they did that was wrong on the way of their walk, that they've been ordained to walk in, they was going to receive mercy from that. They was going to be justified for that. Whereas another Israelite that's not of the elect, it won't matter what Dave did if they don't believe in YAHAWAH, but them not believing in YAHAWAH is also been programmed in them. And that's why this Bible, man, right? Ultimately, when you read this Bible, you find out that everything is about Yahweh's choice. It's all about Yahweh's choice. Why are we Israelites, right? And Esau is an Edomite? Because Yahweh wanted us to be, right? And I was watching a brother talking about this, and it's one of the things that a beautiful topic, man, to go into, man. Romans, the 9th chapter, man, right? When you read that Romans, the 9th chapter, it really brings that out, man. And when you read the book of Genesis in the first place, anyway, you just see that everything's about Yahweh's choice, right? Every single, let me get a scripture right now. Revelation 4 and verse 11. Thou art worthy, O Yahawah, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. So everything was created for Yahweh's pleasure. Everyone wants to always ask, how comes a God that's perfect made humans, made this, made that? Why would he need to? Listen, man, you can't ask a question like that as a human. That's stupid. Let me get a scripture. You can't asking a question like that is dumb. Would you rather have not been created then, you idiot? For all the people that ask questions like that, how comes you made us then? And we're not this and we're not that. You can't ask a question like that. That's stupid. Romans chapter 9 and verse 19. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who has resisted his will? Neighbor, old man, who art thou that replies against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? If you being the creature can't question the creator, that's stupid, because you would not exist without the creator. How are you going to stand before your creator and have any questions and try and talk wisely to the God that made you? You know how stupid you're doing that, when anything that you're thinking about came from your God that made you, making you be like that. You can't outthink your creator. It's stupid to even think that you can. Some were made for glory, some was made not for glory, man. And Esau is the epitome of somebody being made to be destroyed, man. But even among the Israelites of the elect, in fact, let me go to this. Watch this. Watch this, man. Romans chapter 11. Romans chapter 11 and verse 30. For as ye in times past have not believed God, yet now have obtained mercy through their unbelief, even so these also now not believed, even so have these also now not believed, that through your mercy they also may obtain mercy, man. So the Israelites that don't end up getting it on this side, they're going to receive mercy through the Israelites that do. Because ultimately, once upon a time, every single Israelite is not believed. And how do we know this? Because Yahweh tried to be sent to die for every single Israelite that's ever existed or ever was going to exist sins. That's how we know. There was never no Israelite apart from Yahawashi that ever fulfilled the whole law perfectly. There was never any. And some people try and pull out Bible verses and say, yeah, there was. No, because they would have been sinning and keeping things such as the Day of Atonement to cover for the sins that they did commit. Because we have to remember that some parts of the law was the sacrifices. So they would have been giving up sacrifices and would have been keeping the Day of Atonement. Just by Israelites keeping a Day of Atonement in general, that was proof continually of how they were sinning. Because you wouldn't need to keep the Day of Atonement if you didn't have any sins to atone for, right? Like when you read this Bible, man, you ultimately realize that everything is just about Yahweh's choice. When you read the book of Genesis, Yahweh chose Noah, right? Then he of his own self chose to save 8 people alive, right? There could have been some other people there that potentially could have been he could have said, you know what, I'm gonna save 8, I'm gonna save 10 people, in fact, or I'm gonna save 12, or I'm gonna save 12,000. No, he said 8 from his own will. He said, I'm gonna choose 8 people, right? He had mercy on Noah's sons, and he had mercy on Noah's sons' wives, and he had mercy on Noah's wife because of Noah. But that was his choice. That was his choice, man. Because in the time that's coming, Yahweh might not have mercy on people of the elect's wives if he so chooses that he's not going to have that. But then on another, man, he might have mercy on that person's wife or that person's children, man. Because it's ultimately all of where he's been about Yahweh's choice, always, right? Ecclesiasticus chapter 18 and verse 1. He that liveth forever have created all things in general. The Lord only is righteous, and there is none other but he. who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. For he is the King of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane. So it's ultimately all about Yahawah, man. It's Yahawah's choice. Why is somebody else tall, right? And another person short, man? Why is somebody bold, right? And another person's got a big afro? Why somebody got scraggly teeth, right? And another person hasn't got scraggly teeth, man. Why are some people chosen and they're going to get beamed up in chariots, and some other people are going to get burnt to death? Why? Yahawah's choice, right? That's what it's always been. Yahawah's choice. If you read Romans, the 9th chapter, it's about Yahawah's choice, man. Some Israelites on this earth right now are millionaires, while there's some Israelites right now that are broke, going paycheck to paycheck, man, but they believe in Yahawah though, right? But then when all hell breaks loose, that Israelite that's a millionaire is going to be looking stupid, because for all their millions that they have, that's not going to be able to help them in any way, shape, or form in the day that really matters the most. And they might be big, strong, rich. That's not going to be able to help them in that time. It's not going to mean nothing. All the riches and all the things that they built up for this kingdom, in this kingdom, that mattered in this kingdom, are not going to matter as we're coming into the building of the new kingdom. It's not going to mean nothing, man. And it's always, I'm going to say it again, everything's always been about Yahawah's choice, man. Everything. It's always been Yahawah chose because Yahawah said it. That's what it always is. Why is this happening? Because Yahawah said it. Now, that seems too easy for some people to understand. That seems like a little getaway clause or something like that for some people, right? They think, oh, yeah, that's easy to say, but we're gonna see then. We're gonna see, like, for all the money and riches that you people have, you can't add one more hour to your life than what's supposed to be added to your life. You can't save your children from harm. You can't stop your own life from ending with all your money. None of you can. Nobody ever has been able to postpone their death. No man has ever been able to do that. No man's ever been able to contain and seal their own spirit and be able to rebuild it, bring themselves back in another body. That's never been able to happen, man. No man's been able to ever stop themselves from falling asleep, right? Because Yahawah can control humans through that too. And it speaks about that in the book of Job, Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 24. Man's goings of Yahawah. How can a man then understand his own way? And let me show what I mean about what it says in the book of Job, right? Let me see if I can remember. Here we go. Job chapter 33 and verse 15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction. So people that want to say, oh, this God of the heavens don't have no power over me. Well, every time you fall asleep, he's got power over you right there and then. And no human can stop themselves from falling asleep. Like, if you was to probably research and look into what's the longest amount of time that somebody's been able to stop themselves from sleeping, I would be surprised if it's even been able to be more than 4 days, to be honest with you. I'd be very surprised. And if they was able to not sleep for more than 4 days, they probably looked bugged out while they was doing it, man. And they were probably having to take crazy large amounts of caffeine. We're probably having to damn near pin their eyes open, right? It's a difficult thing to avoid sleeping, man. Because Yahawah deliberately made humans have to sleep, because he wants to seal their instruction in there and cause them to do things while they're asleep, man. It's like you're being reprogrammed to make sure you do what he wants you to do while you're asleep. Not that he can't control you while you're awake, but that's another method that he uses, man. And it speaks about it in the scriptures clearly. Verse 17, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. And that's one of the things that Yahawah does to us, man, if we're of the elect. Because we can be prideful, man. We can think, man, I'm going to try and do this. Man, I'm going to try and do that. I've got a skill in this. I've got a skill in that. And Yahawah, for all the people that are of the elect, will be like, nah, You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to try and do the same things that these other people do in this world, because I don't want you to go and get the same thing as what these people get, because then I'm going to have to destroy you. Because according to my way that I've set, when people do these things, I destroy them. But then again, Yahweh justifies some people that do certain things, because King David did quite a few things in the scriptures, but he always received mercy for the things that he did. Verse 18, he keepeth back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. And there's many times where we might have had things happen to us in our life, right? And we're like, man, I was trying to do what I thought was a good thing. You might have tried to be going to get a better job or whatever, a so-called better job that makes you a bit more money, and then it ended up you getting even less for a time, right? And you were like, why is this happening? Like, I was just trying to do a good thing, right? I was trying to do a good thing, and I was going to do something good with that money. But really, Yahweh knows that actually, if you would have got that money, you actually wouldn't have did something good with it though. It would have ended up leading you astray with that. So he turned you away from receiving it, man. Or you might move to a different area, and you might not even like nobody that you live that's around that area, but that's been done deliberately, because that's going to build up a character for you, like some kind of character trait, man. Or you might go off a couple of times and you're like, why am I going off? I don't want to go off. I don't want to sin, man. I don't want to be wicked. I don't want to do the wrong thing. I really want to do the right thing. But that's being done deliberately so that you can realize, pray, right? That you can realize, call upon Yahweh, man. You might get put in a position where you have to defend yourself. Even something like that could be a situation that was done to test, right? Or it could get close to where it seemed like you was gonna have to defend yourself, but you didn't, and it was really a test of, can you stay spiritual, man? That can happen too. Many things can happen. You might get tested with your health, right? What does the Bible say, man? Though my outward man perish, the inward man is renewed day by day. You might have to get tested in your health, because when your body's stronger, you act more carnal. So you might have to have your strength taken away so that you don't have that. So that kind of mindset gets purged away, man. So that the mindset of you wanting to be a warrior in the physical sense gets purged away and taken away, man. Right? Because all of us as Israelites have got a gift of being strong. Right? We've got a potential for extreme measures of strength and skill, right? Because we're Israelites, man. Our forefather fought with an angel, Jacob, right? Verse 19. He's chastened also with pain upon his bed, and a multitude of his bones with strong pain, so that his life abhorreth bread, and his soul dainty meat. His flesh is consumed away that he cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. And that goes into things that you can get happen where your health gets jacked up, man. And there's certain plagues out there, but where you can lose a whole bunch of weight, man. Right? And some brothers made. I'll say one of the plagues that it can be, man. Cancer, right? If you get people that get cancer, right, that causes them to lose a whole bunch of weight, man. Right? But that's being done to purge out some kind of character flaw within a person, man. Right? That kind of thing gets done to purge out some kind of character flaw, and it's all a test anyway. Even if you didn't even do nothing wrong, Yahweh still got the right to do that to somebody, because he made you. And doesn't the scripture say, let me get this, because everyone tries to make out like Yahweh's evil for causing things to happen in people's lives, but they don't know what they're talking about, man. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 11, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So that if Yahweh's got the ability to bring a human back on this earth, and there'll be no remembrance of the former life that they lived, right? How can Yahweh be considered evil? And he can do that when he could have made somebody be punished for their evil life. And then once they've gone through their punishment, now they come back and they receive a beautiful life. How is that an evil God? But because these people don't know these things, and they don't think in a spiritual way, man, they don't understand that it's always just Yahweh's choice, man. And that's one of the things I'm trying to get across with this particular lesson. And maybe I've spoke too much already, but it's always been about Yahweh's choice, right? It's never about, oh, how strong I am. Oh, I'm skilled in this, I'm skilled in that. These are all beautiful things, man, to have a skill in things. But that just leads you to love this world, right? That just leads you to love this world, man. And many Israelites, every single Israelite's got a skill of something, man, because we're talented people. Every single Israelite's got a skill in something, but Yahweh don't care for that stuff, for us to have that kind of stuff now, man. And the point I'm making again, man, is it's just always about Yahweh's choice, right? Everything in this world that's ever took place is just always about Yahweh's choice, right? There's no reason why we couldn't have all, apart from if it wasn't for Yahweh's choice, there's no reason why Romans 9 and 13 couldn't have said, as it is written, Esau have I loved and Jacob have I hated. But because it was Yahweh's choice to love Jacob and to hate Esau, that's why it's that way. But it could have quite easily been that Jacob was the wicked one and that we were wicked like Esau, and that our blessing ended up being a sword, and then Esau ended up being a good one, but Yahweh didn't want it to be that way, right? Yahweh could have easily decided to be the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, but luckily for us that he didn't do that. Or he could have decided to be the God of Abraham, Ishmael, and whoever Ishmael's sons are, man. But he didn't decide to do that. He could have decided to be the God of the Hamites if he wanted to. But luckily for us, he didn't do that. He could have decided to be the God of the Moabites, but he didn't want to be the God of the Moabites. He chose Israel, right? Yahweh chose Israel, man. Let me get a scripture. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people. So Yahweh didn't choose us because of anything that we did that was so special, man. It's just his choice why he chose us, right? Verse 8, but because Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he swore unto your fathers, have Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. But why did Yahweh choose Abraham? Because he wanted to. Why did Yahweh choose Isaac? Because he wanted to. Why did Yahweh choose to make his name be upon Shem? Because he wanted to, man. He wanted to choose somebody from Shem's line. Why did Yahweh not give Cain the ability to call upon the Lord, upon him, when Cain killed Abel? Why did he make Adam and Eve have Seth? Because he wanted to, right? That's why, because he wanted to. And that's what these Christians can't understand, because they're bugged out and because they don't really understand the truth of the Bible, man. It's always just being about Yahweh's choice, right? That's the whole thing about the Bible. It's just Yahweh's choice. Why is this happening? Because Yahweh chose it to happen. Simple as that. It's just always been about Yahweh's choice, man. Right? And I'm going to end the lesson there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.